Hello there. So this is Dad, and I am going to introduce you to what I'm going to do. So a while back, Julianne gave me this book. Dad, I want to hear your story. And it's a collection of, all kinds of prompts where you can fill in information about your life and stuff like that. And it's kind of like a memory keepsake book. So I'm looking at this thing going, I don't want to fill out necessarily and answer all of the questions, but it would be easier to record a video and, you know, record the answers like that. So, looking at the first 2 pages of this book, we have things like what is your birthday, what is your full name at birth, were you named after a relative or someone else of significance, and it goes for the first 2 pages about stuff about your birth and being a baby, and then what stories were you told about the day you were born, what is your favorite childhood memory, etc., etc., etc. So rather than actually go through the book, I found my baby book. Welcome to our baby. This is my baby book. And opening it up, it says, to Michael Andrew Kimball, love Aunt Peg and Uncle Kelly, 10/19/1967, the day I was born. So I thought I would go through and read stuff from my baby book, and that will kind of fill in the first couple of pages of the Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story book. And then after I read through the first couple of pages of that book, I can, go from there. So you can always fast forward this video, do whatever you want, but I figure I'm recording this for posterity. So here we go. Technician's report, first page. Blood type. I was born with A positive blood. Very good to know. Did you have a transfusion? No, I did not. And I don't believe my mother did either. Moving on, let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. I skipped a page here. Okay. The mother in the hospital page. Name of your doctor, Bruno Zaneski, something like that. Name of your hospital, Newton Memorial Hospital. How did your labor begin? Mild pains, my mother said. What time did labor begin? 10:45 a.m. in the morning. What type of analgesia, sedation during labor did you have? Nothing. And she said, something for pain. I can't read my mother's writing. How long were you in labor? 2.5 hours. What time was your baby delivered? I was born at 1:27 p.m. on October 19th, 1967. What did your baby weigh at birth? I was a whopping 7 pounds, 12 and 1/2 ounces. Was your baby premature? No, I was not. What were your baby's measurements? I was 19.5 inches long. What color were the eyes of your baby? Hazel. Now, I guess they changed because I don't think I have hazel eyes. I think I have brown eyes. Did you breastfeed your baby? Yes, I was breastfed. Okay, our baby. Was your baby circumcised? Yes, I was circumcised on the 22nd of October. If so, by whom? Dr. Zaneski. Was your baby christened? Yes, November 5th, 1967. By whom? Father Robert Carroll at St. Joseph's Church in Newton, New Jersey. My godfather is Francis J. Rowe, which is my dad's sister, her husband. And my godmother is my Aunt Janice, who's my father's sister. When did you leave the hospital? October 24th. So I was born on the 19th, and I did not leave the hospital until the 24th. So we're flipping through. As you see, I'm still flipping through this. Okay, announcing the arrival of Michael Andrew Kimball, born at Newton Memorial Hospital, October 19, 1967 at 1:27 p.m. in Newton, New Jersey, in the county of Sussex in the state of New Jersey. Record at time of birth, 7 pounds, 12.5 ounces, 19.5 inches long, brown hair, hazel eyes, and, nothing else there. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's a little snippet from my baby announcement. Um, Michael Andrew, baby's name, for no special reason. So that was one of the questions in the book. Am I named after anybody? No, I'm not named after anybody. Um, the christening was by the Robert Carroll on November 5th, and identification marks. My mom said I had a red spot on the side of my head. Not sure what that meant, but I had a red spot. So here's a copy of my birth certificate, or not the copy of the birth certificate, but that's like the little card that was on my crib. And of course, that is a ancient picture of Newton Memorial Hospital back in 1967. If you look at it now, you'd be amazed how much different it looks. So, okay, moving on. Visitors at the hospital. Who did I have visit me? Well, my dad visited me. My mom says slept all night at 3.5 months. 3 meals a day at 3.5 months. Not bad. I rolled over from my stomach to my back at 4.5 months. And at 4 months, I went back to my stomach. Okay, pretty good. Said Dada at 6.5 months, said Mama at 10 months, and I was off the bottle at 9 months old. So then there were the gifts page, and it just goes into some of the gifts. Half of these things I can't read. My mother's writing is, well, it's difficult to read. But anyway, I guess I got a lot of gifts when I was born. Okay. Congratulations on your new baby. So there's like cards and stuff that, you know, people sent me. Okay, here's some of the foods that I started. I was on cereal at 2 weeks, liked it, and ate well. That's still the same today. Fruits at 1 month, I liked it and ate well. Vegetables at 6 weeks, meats and full diet at 3 months, juice at 3 months. I was off baby food at 9 months, and by 1 year, he ate everything and wasn't fussy. So, what did I always tell you? There isn't anything I won't eat, or at least try at least once. So, from the day I was born, or 1 year, I was not a picky eater, and that's true today. So, that goes into the family tree. I'm not going to go through all the names here. Baby's first routine check by the doctor. Mother's comments. Here we go. November 13th, 1967. Had a slight cold, but was in good health otherwise. Made funny noises when he breathed, but his x ray showed negative. It was the muscles in his vocal cords that were relaxed and rattled. So I know my parents had said when I was an infant and was a baby, and I was sleeping in the stroller, the crib, carriage, whatever, they said I would chirp. I would make these weird noises when I slept, and everybody's like, what the hell is that kid doing? And it's because my vocal cords were so relaxed, I used to make a chirping sound. So, formula feeding chart here. It says breastfed until 3 months old, and then the bottle started on January 30th, 1968 with whole milk. Very good, whole milk. Okay, moving on. Record of growth and weight. Interesting. So at birth, I was 7 pounds, 12 and a half ounces, 19 and a half inches long. And then it goes 1 week, 6 weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 15 months. So by 15 months, I was 28 pounds. And the last recorded height at 9 months was 30 inches. So I did a pretty good growing up there. First outings, November 11th, 1967. Went to Honesdale at 3 weeks old. So Honesdale, if you don't remember, was the birthplace of both of my parents. Don and Marion Kimball were both, actually, I don't think my dad was born in Honesdale. Maybe. Might have been born in Bethany. But they both grew up in and around Honesdale, so that's where all of the aunts and uncles and my grandparents all lived in Honesdale. February 18th to March 18th, spent a whole month at the Roys, which I am assuming, the name sounds vaguely familiar, but it was like friends of my fathers. I think my father actually lived with him for a while after he got out of the Army. It says, spent a whole month at the Roys with Big Dog and cats and something in Newton, New Jersey. So I guess I spent a whole month with somebody. Okay, snapshots. Here's a picture of me. Right. Oh, right. Hold on. Right. Where is it? Oh, well. You know what? Oh, it's hard to do. Anyway, it's hard to do that. Words Michael said at 21 months: baby, gum, bow wow, done, dada, hot, Pete, and hi. Okay, baby's first. The baby's first page, right there. Baby's first. First tooth at 8 months. I got a first tooth on the bottom. Eyes followed moving object at 3 months. First smile and laugh, 2 months. Discovered hands. I discovered my hands at 3 months old. Grasped object, 5 months. Pick up, rattle, etc. Recognized mother at 4 months. Sat up at 7.5 months. Crept. I started crawling at 8.5 months. I stood up at 9 months. My first steps. First steps, December 1968 at 14 months, walked good at 15 months. So I took my first step at 14. At 15, I was off to the races. First words, mama, dada. First haircut, 2 years by the barber. Fed himself at 15 months. What you think about that? Rolled over from back to stomach February 13th of 68 and continue to do so almost 4 months old. Went to bed at 6 p.m. at 5.5 months and said dada at 6.5 months and mama at 9 months. Okay. First Christmas. Ooh, look at this. Here we go. First Christmas at 2 months old. Oh my gosh, she went through all of the gifts that I got. Polo shirts, and pajamas, and baby toys, and stuff like that. So I got a lot of nice gifts at my first Christmas. Favorites. Loved books at 1.5 years old. Played a lot with trucks at 22 months old. Pets. At age 5, had a dog, Freckles, and loved it. So yes, little digress here. The first family dog was when we lived 5 Thompson Street, and our first dog was Freckles. So Freckles, although I love that dog, was a very rambunctious dog, and if that dog got on the leash, you could not get the dog back. I remember at some point my parents got rid of the dog, saying we sent the dog to a farm. Whether or not that's true or not, I have no idea. I just know Freckles was short-lived at the Kimball household. He didn't last long. Playmates. At age 5, he played with Joey somebody when he came over. I have no idea who Joey is. But anyway. All right, moving on. We are first birthday. There's a picture of my first birthday right there. Yep, my first birthday. See that? And it says I got stretch pants and pull toys and a bunch of people were there. And then other snapshots. There's other snapshots of me and my sisters. And for those who are interested, this baby book is in my box in my office of just miscellaneous papers. So I die someday, you can have the book. You can go through it. Okay, and moving on. What birthday is this? Oh, I can't read it because the birthday is stuck. Oh, here's a cute little picture. How's that? Cute, huh? I think that's 2 years old. And then, let me see if you can see that picture right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah, see? Okay. A couple more snapshots there. Okay, moving on. Third birthday. Wow, look at this. Third birthday. How about that, huh? I got to figure out a way to easily see. Oh, here we go. There we go. Look at that. Okay. Third birthday. Matchbox cars, PJs, shirts, clothes, stuff like that. On May 27th, 1971, Mike fell in the road, punctured his head at calls for 2 or 3 stitches. I actually remember that. Somewhere in the other Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story book, what was some of your earliest memories? I remember May 27th, 1971, 67, 69, 70. Yeah, I was 4 years old. I was trying to cross the street in front of the house on New Hampshire Avenue or New Hampshire Street where we lived. And there was a car way down at the end of the road that was coming up, and my sister Tammy was standing behind me, and she did not want me to cross the road. And of course, I wanted to cross the road. And as I keep trying to cross the road, she grabbed my collar and pulled me back, and I fell backwards and I hit my head, and I cracked the back of my head open and got some stitches. So here's some additional photos there of me playing with the drum. Little photos of me. And fourth birthday. Wow, 4 years old. Tuesday, October 19th, 1971. Had cake, ice cream at home with John and Jeff and Carol and Dave. That was the McGinnis family. They were friends of my parents, and John and Jeff McGinnis were a little bit older, but we would get together. On January 29th, 1972, moved to our new house. Woo! So that was, I was 5 years old. On 5 Thompson Street, October 3rd, 1972, Mike got hit with a pipe and had 3 stitches over his left eye. I remember that. We were at some family friend's house somewhere, and me and a bunch of kids, their kids, we were outside playing. And this kid, I don't even remember what his name was, but he had this long cast iron. I don't know if it was lead. Yeah, well, it wasn't lead, but it was like a cast iron pipe, like a gas pipe, about that thick. And he was swinging it like a baseball bat, and he just, on his backswing, cracked me right in the head. And I remember getting 3 stitches over my left eye. So this is over my left eye. So I remember that. I remember getting whacked. I could dress myself in 1972, which is a good thing, And so for my 4th birthday, Mom and Dad gave me a bike. I got something slack set. $5 from Grandma Kanash, $1 from Aunt Peg. Flashlight. I guess Carol and Jeff got me, or Carol and Dave got me a flashlight. And then here's some pictures from my 4th birthday. Cute, right? There's some more snapshots in there. All right, and let me see here. Then on my 5th birthday, woo, look at that. Birthday number 5. Ooh-wah. January 1973, fell and hit the iron on his bed and had 3 stitches between his forehead. So the scar that I have right here. So the story was, in January 1973, I was in my sister's room, Tammy and Anne Marie, and my bedroom was across the hall. So we were playing in their room. For whatever reason, my pants were down around my ankles. I have no idea why. My pants were down around my ankles, and I was trying to run from their room to my room with my pants down around my ankles, and I tripped and I fell forward, and the metal rail that holds the box spring and mattress in place, my face slammed into that, and I got a gash right here above my eye. So I remember that on my 5th birthday. A couple more snapshots. Let me see. Was in a Christmas play, was a wise man. His line to say was, "Let us follow that star. It leads to Bethlehem." How about that? I was a star in my 5th birthday. Okay, kindergarten. Where did I go to kindergarten? I went to kindergarten at Halsted Street School in Newton, New Jersey. And my first day of kindergarten was September 16th. I think it was either a 10 or a 6, September, of 1973. And my kindergarten teacher's name was Ms. Carol Ford. And here's some other snapshots of me as a baby. And there's Aunt Tammy in there. And let me see, my 6th birthday is right there. There's my 6th birthday. Oh, there we go. 6th birthday right there. And name of school, Halstead again. Entrance date, September 4th, 1973. Mrs. Carol Ford. Mother's comments, liked it, but hated walking. I guess I hated to walk to school. And back then, when I was in from kindergarten all through high school and everything, elementary, middle school, everything, walk to school. Back in the day, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, walk to school. Amazing, right? Wouldn't do that today. Teacher's comments, loves to talk and gets excited. 7th birthday, here we go. August 28, 1975. Mike got the mumps at age 7.5. Got the mumps. Your pediatrician's name, Dr. George Catlett. I actually remember getting a shot when I was a little kid, having to go to Dr. Catlett. And that memory burned in my head. He was at 181 High Street. Did you take a nurse home with you? No. I don't know why it was written in there. When was the baby given its first bath at home? October 25th, 1967. I had my first bath. I was taken outdoors on October 29th, 1967. And on November 25th, 1974, I had my tonsils out. So I was age 7. So I actually remember that. I remember being in the hospital, being told you're going to get your contacts out. And I remember laying in the bed prior to surgery and the nurse coming over to give me a sedative in preparation for getting my tonsils out. And of course, I'm all upset. I'm 7 years old. I don't want a shot, the whole bit. She came over, and I guess back then, whatever this sedative was, they gave it to you on the inside of your thigh, kind of just, on the inside of your thigh. She gave me the shot, and she said, oh, I forgot the Band-Aid. So she walks away. I was laying down, like they're like, don't look, just lay down. I sat up, looked at the blood running down my thigh, and I passed out and fell backwards in the bed. I remember doing that. And then I remember getting wheeled into the emergency, or not the emergency room, the surgical suite, the room for surgery. And, I was like kind of half in and half out of consciousness. I remember my eyes being watery. And I remember laying there and this bright light was above my head. And I sat up and said, I don't want to get my tonsils out. And I started to cry. And some nurse, whoever she was, laid me back down. She's like, it's okay, Michael. It's okay. You're going to be fine. And then that's the last I remember. And then I remember waking up and having an extremely sore throat. So we're flipping through the rest of the book here. We are pretty much done. Okay, immunization records. I got my diphtheria shot on January 29th, 1968. I got my tetanus shot on January 29th, 1968. And it says here on January 27th, 1972, I got chickenpox. Chickenpox was something and was very good, only had sore throat. So I guess when I got the chickenpox, it wasn't that bad. That was the only immunization that they said is recorded in this book. And then we're moving on to the next couple pages, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then we have some more family photos. Here's some family photos right there. And there's me and Tammy. And that was Christmas 1967. Tammy was 20 months old and I was 2 months old. And then let's see. We're almost at the end of this book. Okay, and then this is the last page right here, and these are the last photos in this book. So that is the conclusion of my baby book. I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and then the next video will be selective pages from the start of this book. See, and I will finish it. So for now, have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.